dancers. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I wanted to talk about how to review your year so that you can move forward with passion and purpose. So, when a new year rolls around, we're coming into 2018, oftentimes we set New Year's resolutions. So, that's all about moving forward, and usually it's about what we want to change or improve or do better. However, a big missing piece is thinking back on the previous year and reflecting on what went well. You have to look back on your year and think about any small victories that you made, any large strides that you made, new things that you tried, and new things that you pursued, whether you were trying something out for the first time or you came back to something after maybe trying something new. I think it's also great to think about your food, no matter what your New Year's resolutions might be, but to think about your food. I do this on a very regular basis, but I think it's nice to look back on the year as a whole and think about ways that you might eat more healthfully or be a little bit more calm about food or a little bit more calm about your personal body goals. So for me, something that always comes up is sugar. It's definitely something I love and something that I often indulge in, whether that's chocolate in the evening or whether that's a dessert at a, vegan cafe or something like that. So I always try to think about ways that I might move forward and minimize the amount of processed sugar in my eating plan. So a lot of the time I'll think about incorporating more fruits or eating more sweet vegetables in the evening so that I don't feel that I need something sweet after dinner. So think back on your food choices and think about maybe a big thing you would like to work on improving. I think it's also great to think about your fitness plan in addition to your dancing and how that's serving your dancing. Are you doing all the things you could to dance at your best? Now, I think it's good to think about your cross training and make sure that you're not going overboard and not doing too much, but instead think about ways you can be more effective. One of the great things that's developing in the fitness world is that there are more and more of these boutique fitness studios that have Pilates reformer classes. Now, before, to use the reformer, you usually had to go and pay $80 or $100 for a private Pilates lesson. But now there are a lot of different studios that offer group Pilates sessions that use the reformer. So you're getting the same benefits, but it's at a much more reasonable cost. So that might be a nice way to switch up your Pilates training or switch up your cross training rather, and incorporate some Pilates into your training, even if you weren't previously able to do that. So as you're thinking back on the year and you're thinking about what went well and you're thinking about those big things that you might try to incorporate or alter or try anew, it's a good idea to think about what didn't go so great in the last year. I think it's good to start on a positive note and end on a positive note. So definitely start off with celebrating your wins and celebrating what you think went well. Then get into that productive section where you're thinking about things you might improve and take forward into the new year. Then as you reflect back on 2017, it's a good idea to think about things that you weren't particularly thrilled about, whether it was casting, whether it was something more in your control, or whatever might have come up that you say to yourself, well, that wasn't necessarily my best work. Maybe I didn't react so well to a certain experience or something that you were pursuing. Maybe that's auditions, or perhaps, you were trying for triple pirouettes and yet you didn't actually accomplish that throughout the year. So look back and think about ways you'd like to improve and things that maybe were not your best try, things you might have given up on a little too quickly, and think about how you can move forward and be more strategic or perhaps a little bit smarter about your approach. And for reaching goals, it's so important to think about the tiny steps that are going to get you there. We've done a lot of talk about goal setting. It's one of my favorite topics for dancers because I think we don't do enough of it. And I think that it's really important to think about your goals in tiny pieces. And if it's a technique goal, it's not just going to class and practicing pirouettes. It's What are all the little pieces that go into improving my pirouettes? It's core strength. It has to do with your passe. It has to do with your turnout, your rotation, your balance, your spotting, your arms, your back. There are so many things. So really think about technique goals in that way and break them down into the tiniest pieces so that you're able to move forward in a super smart and strategic way. I think that as we get into a new year, we think sometimes we put a little too much weight on it, a little too much pressure. So I want you to be realistic about your goals and know that support is out there. So you don't necessarily need to go it alone or have the perfect strategy for yourself. If you are not sure how to approach one of your goals, definitely reach out and seek support. Some of the areas that I'm going to be focused on helping dancers moving forward are definitely going to still be the nutrition, food, and body component. And that's something you can get help with me through the Dancer's Best Body program, which will be enrolling at the end of January, but also that you can get one-on-one support if you need like immediate attention. It is something you can reach out to me and we can figure out the most beneficial one-on-one coaching program to get you to your body goals. Especially if you have a deadline, you might want to reach out and get that added one-on-one support. Additional audition and career coaching is going to be available moving forward, and goal coaching. So a lot of fun and exciting things are on the horizon for the Whole Dancer. So be sure to join the Whole Dancer email list, because that is where you will be the first person to hear any new developments or hear about any new coaching programs or options moving forward. I'll link below so that you can see how to sign up and do that. Have a happy new year. Celebrate every moment. Think about how you can reflect back and find the positive ways to then move forward. Thanks again so much for tuning in.